today we are looking directly into the sun.
Not literally, of course.
No, not literally. We're aiming our sights at a towering mythological figure, Surya, the sun deity.
And we're not just talking about a celestial orb. We're tracing the identity of this incredibly ancient and enduring figure across thousands of years of scripture.
It's a truly amazing story. We're going to follow his journey from a really abstract cosmic power in the earliest hymns.
All the way down to a deity who, well, let's just say he has some very human, very dramatic domestic troubles.
And our sources today give us this incredible view, from philosophy right down to living folklore.
Right. Our mission here is to take what the Vedic seers gave us, which are these profound but sometimes, scattered dots of concept.
And show you how later stories gathered them all up and joined them together.
Exactly. They made this divine figure both intellectually deep and intensely personal.
So if you want to understand how these huge ideas about creation and divinity evolve over millennia,
And how they get repackaged into these engaging, memorable, and frankly surprising stories, this is the deep dive for you.
we're going to cover everything from the sun as the literal soul of the universe to the divine architecture needed to dim his brightness a bit.
And finally, the mystery of why one of the most powerful gods in the cosmos needs to wear a pair of high leather boots.
That is a lot to unpack. So let's start at the absolute highest level. Let's start with the Vedic foundation, where the sun is just pure power and knowledge.
We have to start with the weight of the original Sanskrit. I mean, the Rig Veda describes Surya in terms that just immediately lift him beyond being a simple light source.
Okay, like what? Give us an example.
Well, he is Mitrasya Varunasya Chakshu.
Which means?
He is the very eye of Mitra and Varuna. These are two deities who represent cosmic law, order, covenant.
So he's the ultimate witness.
The ultimate witness, the all-seeing enforcer of the cosmic agreement,
That's already powerful, but then there's an even more profound statement about his role in creation itself.
There is. And this is the line that really places him at the absolute center of everything. It's Surya Atma Jagatas Tastu Shasha.
Okay, break that down for us.
It translates to, he is literally the Atma, the soul, of the movable, the Jagataha, and the immovable, the Tastu universe.
Wow. So not just a giant lamp.
Not at all. He is the animating principle, the central consciousness that gives life and awareness to everything that moves and everything that stands still.
What's remarkable, though, is that even with these huge abstract ideas, he's someone you can immediately recognize.
That's the fascinating thing about the sun deity, isn't it? I mean, think of all the natural phenomena ancient people worshipped. The sky, the wind, the storm.
Sure.
The sun is the most transparently personified form of them all. We can actually see the phenomenon, the light, in the orb of the sun itself.
So the connection between the power and the deity is immediate. It's right there in front of you.
No metaphor needed. And functionally, this power is everything. But, and this is key for the later stories, it has a severe duality.
A double-edged sword.
Absolutely. The sun is, of course, necessary for life. It gives us that mild, life-giving warmth.
But the Vedic seers were also keenly aware that the same power, if it's not tempered, is pretty terrifying.
They weren't ignoring the desert, basically.
Right.
Exactly. When the sun shows its intense, scorching side, think of a drought or the peak of a summer day, he's called Chandu, the terrible one.
Rashmi.
The one with 1,000 rays. And the sources are specific. These rays are both blunt and sharp. They can scorch everything.
So the prayers acknowledge both sides of him, the good and the bad.
They acknowledge the benign hand and the destructive face, and this need to temper that power. Well, that's what sets the stage for all the Puranic drama later on.
I find the link between the sun, sight, and knowledge to be one of the most satisfying ideas here. It's not just poetry, is it?
No, it's a foundational philosophical connection. Sight is directly equated with understanding, with knowing.
When we say, from darkness, lead us to light.
The prayer isn't just about physical darkness, though of course it is that too. More profoundly, it's from ignorance lead us to knowledge. Our consciousness is literally enlightened by the sun's energy.
And this idea has a very specific consequence in the cycle of life and death, doesn't it? It connects our physical senses back to this sort of cosmic architecture.
It does. It connects our personal physical existence right back to the cosmic source. The tradition says that when we die, all our sensory organs, our indriyas, they dissolve. They merge back into their cosmic origins.
And our sense of sight.
Our vision specifically returns to the sun.
Why?
Because the very ability to see and perceive the world is a gift. It's received only by the grace of the sun. He is the ultimate original source of vision itself.
That's cosmic accountability. Our very ability to see is just borrowed from him.
In a way, yes. And this structure of his power also helps us understand that famous tripartite division of deities across the three realms.
Right, the system that classifies this single solar power and how it shows up across the universe.
It helped the ancient observers understand how this energy was always present, even when the sun's orb wasn't visible in the sky.
So walk us through it. How does that power cycle through the terrestrial, atmospheric, and celestial realms?
Okay, so in the terrestrial realm on Earth, the sun's power is Agni, fire.
Agni.
The idea is that when the sun sets, its raw energy enters into Agni.
Which is why fire burns so brightly at night.
Exactly. The sun hasn't vanished. Its energy has just been handed down to its terrestrial counterparts, an energy transfer system.
Okay, in the atmospheric realm.
In the atmosphere, that power is Vidagi, which is lightning, intense, momentary condensed solar energy.
And then up in the celestial realm.
The names multiply. You have Surya, Savita, Mitra, Pushan. They're all just slightly different shades of the same solar power, each one emphasizing a different function, order, generation, nourishment.
And this is where we find Vishnu fitting into the system, too. He's identified as a solar deity in the Rig Veda.
It makes perfect sense when you think about it. Vishnu's most famous act is his three wide strides, his Vikramata.
Right, striding across the universe.
Well, phenomenologically, that's rooted in charting the course of the sun. His three steps represent Suryodaya, sunrise,
Madhyana Surya, midday sun,
and Suryasta, sunset. So Vishnu is striding across the universe every single day in the form of cyclical light.
These functions are also baked right into the names themselves, aren't they? The etymology tells the story.
It does, which gives us another layer of depth. The Sanskrit root su means to impel, to stimulate, or to generate.
So Savita is derived from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is the generator, the originator, the motivator of everything.
He's the divine alarm clock.
He is. He is the Kalapurusha, the time maker. When he's absent, it's night. Time sort of pauses. But when he rises, he's the force that motivates all of mankind to get to work.
He impels creation into action.
That's his role as the generator. And this brings us right to the core philosophy of creation, this duality that's expressed in the mantra dedicated to him.
You're talking about the universe being Agnimatmakam.
That's the one. It means the universe is comprised of Agni heat, fire, solar energy, and Soma moisture, coolness, lunar energy.
And you can't have creation without both.
You need both. The simplest analogy is a seed. A seed needs water, the soma, and warmth, the Agni, to sprout. It's the balance of the active and the receptive, the masculine and feminine.
And the sun, as the ultimate source of Agni, has to interact with Soma for life to be sustained.
It's fundamental to all Indic cosmology, and this idea is perfectly encapsulated in the Savitri mantra.
Which most of us know as the Gayatri mantra.
Indeed. Its purpose is this deep contemplation on the great luster, the Bharga, of the shining god Savita. We're asking this great generator to motivate and impel our intellect.
So it's not a request for physical light?
It's a request for the light that sharpens our consciousness. It ties right back to that idea of sight being knowledge.
Okay, before we leave the Vedas, let's just touch on the name Aditya. It has a certain dominance to it.
It does. It has a few meanings, but one really compelling one is about his absolute superiority. He's the one who evaporates rasan, water, and crucially steals the bas, the luster, from all other luminous bodies.
Meaning when he's out, nothing else can shine.
Exactly. The stars are still there, but you can't see them. His presence is so dominant, so singular, that he just absorbs or obscures all other brilliance. That's the essence of Aditya.
That sets the stage beautifully, this untempered, supreme, all-seeing power. So now, let's pivot. We're leaving that abstract philosophical height and heading straight into the Puranic realm.
Where this cosmic soul gets tangled up in something surprisingly human.
Domestic conflict. We are moving from high wisdom to what honestly reads a bit like a divine soap opera.
And we enter the realm of Smriti, that which is remembered and, more importantly, elaborated upon. The Rig Veda gave us the philosophical frame and a few tantalizing fragments.
And the Puranas take those fragments and build the whole dramatic house.
They do. They act as anuvada, elaboration, making the deity relatable through these really universal domestic tensions.
Let's start with the immediate family. Who's the wife who kicks off this entire dramatic arc?
So his parents are Dhyas, the sky, and Aditi, mother of the gods. His main wife in the Vedas is named Saranyu.
Who becomes Samjna in the Puranas.
Right, it's the same figure. It's also worth noting, in the really early texts, Usha's, the dawn, is sometimes called his consort or even his mother.
Because the dawn has to come before the sun. It gives birth to the light.
Exactly. But the central conflict here is Samjna's inability to endure her husband's power. She just could not handle the heat.
And that's the core of it, right there in the Rig Veda.
That is the crux of it. She was fundamentally unable to tolerate his scorching heat, his excessive, untempered luster. It was the unbearable intensity of pure divinity.
So her reaction is pretty radical. She doesn't just ask for a divorce.
No, her plan relies on deception and, well, divine cloning.
What does she do?
Before she flees, she uses her own divine power to create a perfect replica of herself. This double was named Sarana,
Who later becomes known as Chaya.
literally the shadow. And this replica was so perfect that for a while, Surya had no idea there had been a substitution.
So she just replaces herself, drops off the shadow wife, and disappears.
She secretly deposited the replica with Surya and then left his house. And she transformed herself completely into a mare and went off to live in isolation, away from his burning intensity.
And the Rig Veda gives us those pieces.
Yeah.
The flight, the replica, the mare, the Puranas fill in all the emotional detail.
Right. And it's important to remember that before all this happened, they had already started a very consequential family.
So who are the children of the original Samjna?
They include the very famous twin pair Yama, the Lord of Death, and Yami, who's often associated with the river Yamuna.
And also Vasvatu and the Ashwins?
The Ashwins, yes.
Oh.
The divine physicians. And their birth story is tied directly to Surya eventually tracking down their mother.
Okay, so how does that happen?
Well, when Surya finally realizes his wife is gone, and we'll get to how he realizes in a bit, he goes looking for her. He finds her in the form of a mare.
And so,
He transforms himself into a horse, an Ashwa, and mates with her.
and from that union come the Ashwins.
Exactly. They are literally named Ashwins because both of their parents were in the form of an Ashwa.
Meanwhile, back at the Solar Palace, the replica wife, Chaya, is unknowingly making things even more complicated.
She is. She served as Surya's wife for a long time, and she bore him her own set of twin children.
Adding another layer of rivalry to the family.
A huge layer. Her children include Shani, the planet Saturn, who is often associated with justice and hardship,
Tapati, a river goddess.
and Saranyu Manu. So this family drama has consequences that reach into cosmology and the future of mankind.
It's an incredible extended family. You've got the Lord of Deaths, the Judge of Karma, the Divine Healers, and even Surya's charioteer is part of this extended story.
Aruna. Yes, his story is quite poignant. He's the son of Kashyap and a great bird, Vinata. His mother was so impatient for him to hatch that she broke the egg too early,
And he was born incomplete.
without a fully developed lower body.
Yeah.
Which, is perfect for his job. He sits in the chariot, guiding the sun's movement. He's the beautiful red light of dawn that comes before the full sun.
He is necessary for the cycle, but he's not the fully formed light itself.
Precisely. And even Aruna is a father to famous characters, linking Surya's lineage into the great epics.
Right, because Aruna is androgynous.
He is. And in his female form, he gave birth to Sugriva, who is a key figure in the Ramayana.
And then, of course, there's the big one from the Mahabharata.
Karna, born
Wow.
from Kunti, but his father is the sun god himself. So the solar lineage is directly or indirectly the source of key figures in both great epics.
Which takes this abstract cosmic power and makes him deeply, deeply relevant to human fate.
That's the whole point of the Puranic exercise.
Okay, so we have the power, the domestic arrangement, the deception. Now let's get to the Puranic climax. This is where all those threads get woven together and that high, untempered brilliance finally gets brought to heel.
This is the Puranas operating at their highest narrative function. They aren't inventing, they are elaborating. They're taking those Vedic whispers and knitting them into a well-defined story, a mala.
And the trigger, the moment Surya finally figures out he's been living with a replica. It starts with a simple fight between step-siblings.
It's a messy and very relatable piece of family drama. Yama, the son of the original wife Samjna, gets into a fight with Shani, the son of the replica Chaya.
And the stepmother, Chaya, intervenes.
But with a horrifying level of cruelty, a cruelty that just seems off.
What was the curse she laid on Yama?
She cursed him with this extreme affliction, that his foot or his leg should be filled with worms and sepsis.
Wow.
And that was the moment of revelation for Surya. As the ultimate cosmic witness, he saw this profound injustice.
So why was that specific curse the giveaway? Why did that tell him she wasn't the real mother?
Because Surya immediately understood that such a harsh, destructive curse was impossible from a true mother, even a stepmother.
He was too malicious.
It was pure malice. A real mother might show favoritism, but to wish for a child's limb to rot, that violated the core duty of motherhood. That was the clue that Chaya was a replica, that she lacks that natural maternal instinct.
So that realization sends him on the hunt. And where does the father of the cosmos go when his home life collapses?
He goes to his father-in-law.
Of course he does.
He goes to Twashta's house. And Twashta isn't just Semjna's dad. He is the divine architect, the ultimate artisan and craftsman, also known as Vishwakarma.
His credentials here are really important because he's the only one in the cosmos who can perform the kind of divine cosmetic surgery that Surya is about to ask for.
Absolutely. Twashta is a figure of immense technical authority. He sharpened Brihaspati's axe. He famously made the Vajra Indra's thunderbolt from the bones of a sage.
He's a genius who commands energy transformation.
Right. The sources even say he's a solar aspect himself, controlling the power that shines at night. He's the only one Surya could go to for this.
So Surya confronts him, asks why Semjna left, and the core problem, that untempered brilliance, is confirmed.
Twashta confirms it. She couldn't tolerate his intense, unmitigated luster, his tejas. And then Surya makes this pivotal request, a request that really embodies his whole journey from cosmic power to relatable God.
What does he ask?
He asks Twashta to minimize his luster, to make him less dreadfully burning so that he would be safe for his wife.
That is the ultimate act of self-reduction for the sake of connection.
It's remarkable, isn't it? The source of all energy willingly consents to be reduced in brilliance just to maintain his relationship.
And Twashta agrees.
He agrees. And he performs the operation. He puts Surya on a massive turning wheel, like a cosmic lathe, and he literally planes off a portion of his excess luster.
This planing has two major lasting consequences that echo through mythology and art. What's the first one, the physical one?
The first and most direct consequence is to Surya's physical form. During this intense process, something went wrong. Maybe the intensity was just too much.
What happened?
Surya's feet were cut, hurt, or damaged, and the damage was permanent. This single event is the root cause of one of the most unique artistic traditions we're about to see.
And the second consequence is the cosmic redistribution of that raw power. Nothing is wasted.
Nothing. The excess luster that Twashta planed off was pure, concentrated solar energy. So Vishwakarma, the artisan, immediately puts it to use.
He forges it into the weapons of the other gods.
He does. Specifically, this planed-off solar essence was used to create the Trishul,
Shiva's trident,
and the Sudarshana chakra,
Vishnu's spinning disc, which explains why it's described as this unbearably bright, fatal weapon. It's literally forged from the raw, tempered light of the sun itself.
The source of life becomes the source of cosmic weapons.
That's incredible. And it brings us perfectly into the next section, moving from the myth to the concrete, physical consequences in art. Let's talk about the iconographic anomaly caused by Surya's damaged feet.
This is such a visually striking detail. I mean, if you look at the standard rules for the Hindu pantheon, deities are almost always shown barefoot.
Right. Rama, Shiva, Lakshmi. Their feet are visible. It's a sign of sacred grounding.
But Surya breaks this rule completely.
Why?
Because of the damage he took during Twashta's planing. Traditional iconography developed a specific rule. Surya's feet should often not be shown in images because they're hurt or perpetually scorched.
And if a full body image is made,
Particularly in the traditions that came up in the north, the feet must be covered.
which gives us the distinctive high boots, sometimes called hunter shoes or even gum boots. They reach right up to the knee. It's a very non-indigenous look for a Hindu deity.
It is. The feature is thought to come from Central Asian or Iranian influences, maybe brought in by groups like the Maga priests who were big on sun worship.
But once the style arrived in India,
The Puranic myth of the planed feet served as the perfect indigenous justification for why this foreign element was necessary. The boots aren't a fashion choice, they're medical coverings.
that's a fascinating example of cultural syncretism. So where do we see this tradition most?
There's a clear geographic split. It's heavily focused on northern India. Many of the most famous sun temples follow this rule.
Like Konark in Odisha.
Ranakpur in Rajasthan, they're the ancient Martina temple in Kashmir, Modhera in Gujarat, and the 8th century temple at Deva Fort in Bihar. All these northern traditions have Surya idols with these characteristic high boots.
And if you go south, the boots disappear.
They're gone. In South Indian positions, the high boots are generally not found. Surya idols there are depicted in the regular style, just like other gods, with bare feet.
So this geographic split is dictated by a single dramatic moment in a Puranic text.
A mythological injury dictates thousands of years of art across half a subcontinent. It's amazing.
And this tradition persists even when the idols themselves are forced to move. Let's talk about the incredible story of the Kanakaditya temple in Maharashtra.
This is a great story. It shows the resilience of this specific tradition. It starts around 1296, during the invasion of Alauddin Khilji.
Who is known for desecrating temples.
Right. So a priest from the great sun temple of Prabhaspatan in Gujarat decides he has to save the gods. He takes one of the 12 main idols from the temple and gets on a ship heading south to escape.
But the journey south is interrupted.
By divine intervention. This is a recurring motive in these stories. The deity chooses its own home. The ship gets completely stuck near the coast of a place called Kasheli.
A sign from the god.
A clear sign. The priest realizes this is where the idol wants to be, so he hides it in a natural cave called Dwarchi Koli.
And eventually a temple is built there, preserving that original northern high-booted style.
It was. Villagers found the idol and built the temple. And the local story says a devotee named Kanaka intuitively knew where the idol was hidden, so the god was named Kanakaditya in his honor.
So you have history, piety, and the specific iconographic tradition all fusing together hundreds of miles from where it started.
It's a living tradition.
Now let's pivot from static art to motion. Let's connect that Puranic story of the horse mating directly to living folklore. We're talking about the Rendala tradition in Gujarat.
This is where the ancient myth becomes a joyful, kinetic ritual. We're looking at the worship of a figure called Randala or Ranway in Gujarat, and her name comes from Radni or Saranyu.
Names linked directly back to Saranyu, the original wife who fled and became a mare.
She is the focus. The central ritual, the Randala Mani Puja, features this prominent, joyful horse dance.
A horse dance?
Yes, or a mime. Women participate, and they joyfully mimic the actions of a horse. This dance directly echoes that high Puranic myth where Surya as the horse and Samjna as the mare unite.
So the dance is a celebration of the fertility and generation that comes from that solar union.
It's a spectacular example of how an extremely complex mythological event gets distilled into a simple, memorable, and participatory ritual.
The mythology is constantly being repeated and reconstructed.
And we see syncretism here, too. The Ranway songs and solar tradition often get fused with Ganuga worship in North India, which is a ritual to Parvati for fertility.
So the core theme of creation and fertility just easily blends with similar local traditions,
proving its adaptability and its relevance.
That entire journey, from the soul of the universe being planed on a wheel to a community horse dance, is really the core of this deep dive, isn't it?
It really is.
Okay, let's pivot one last time. Away from external art and folklore and inward, bringing the sun into mysticism and cosmic cycles in our final section.
We're connecting the solar deity back to fundamental energy principles, both on the grand external scale of the cosmos and the small internal scale of the human body.
The biggest external challenge to the sun is the eclipse, and myth always rushes in to explain that temporary chaos.
Right. An eclipse is a profound moment of disorder. The connection to the source of energy is lost for a moment, and the mythology explains this by invoking demons or dragons who temporarily swallow the sun.
And the origin of these specific troublemakers, Rahu and Ketu, is tied to the churning of the ocean.
The Sagara Manthana, yes. When the gods got the Amrita, the nectar of immortality, Vishnu, in his Mohini form, was distributing it only to the gods.
But Rahu and Ketu, being Asuras, sneak in.
They disguise themselves as gods to get a drink of the nectar. But they don't fool everyone.
Who spots them?
The sun and the moon, the ultimate witnesses. They are the first to detect the deception, and they immediately tell Vishnu.
And Vishnu acts instantly.
He uses the Sudarshana chakra, that very weapon forged from Surya's own planed luster, to cut off Rahu's head.
A perfect circle. Solar energy used to fight the enemies of the sun.
But since the head had already tasted the nectar, it became immortal. That's Rahu. And the body lived on as Ketu.
So as revenge for being snitched on.
As revenge, the immortal Rahu and Ketu periodically pursue and devour the sun and the moon, causing the eclipse.
That sets up the external cosmology. Now for the internal. How does this supreme solar deity show up inside the human body in yogic philosophy?
This brings us to the core concept of the nadi system, the channels of energy that flow within the body. And the sun, the source of heat and vitality, is equated with the Pingala nadi.
Which is also known as the Surya nadi, the sun channel.
Exactly. The name Pingala means tawny brown, reflecting the fiery golden color of the sun.
And what does the Pingala nadi do?
It's crucial for our vital processes. It ends at the right nostril, and it's strongly associated with the left hemisphere of the brain logic, analytical thought, action.
So it's the generator within?
It governs heat, metabolism, vitality, brain development. Practices like right nostril breathing, Suryanuloma, are meant to bring warmth and kinetic energy to the body.
And there's a fascinating link to one of the Surya's daughters here.
Yes, the Surya Nadi is strongly associated with the river Yamuna, because mythologically Yamuna is the daughter of the sun, so that inherent flowing, heating solar element is present in her.
And every force needs a balance, so the Suryonati must have a counterpart.
It does. That's the Chandra Nadi, or Ida, where Pingala is hot and active. Ida is lunar, cool, and passive.
The moon channel.
Right? It opens in the left nostril, is associated with the river Ganga, and governs the right hemisphere, emotions, creativity, receptivity. The two channels are meant to work in harmony.
So the ultimate goal is the perfect integration of these two energies, the sun and moon, into a central pathway.
That central path is the Sushumna Nadi. This is the central channel of realization where Pingala and Ida intertwine like braided hair, meeting at the various chakras.
And the Sushumna is rooted at the base of the spine.
At the Mula Chakra. And in profound mystic texts like the Janujari, this channel is described metaphorically as Kalini, a sleeping female serpent.
The Kundalini. And awakening this serpent is the goal of yoga.
It's the ultimate focus, the Kundalini Jagaran. And this process is, at its core, the successful unification of the solar and lunar energies in that core channel, leading to supreme consciousness.
So Surya's power isn't just out there in the sky.
It's the vital active energy that's necessary for the deepest spiritual realization right inside you.
This has been an incredible journey. It just shows that Surya is so far from being a one-dimensional deity.
He's the ultimate flexible divine entity. He begins as the abstract soul of the universe, the principle of knowledge. Then the Puranas make him relatable, giving him this profound domestic drama.
A wife fleeing his brilliance, a stepchild conflict.
And a divine architect who has to perform cosmic surgery.
And that very drama leads directly to a permanent physical change. The damaged feet that required the unique iconography of the high boots we see all across northern India.
And at the same time, his planed energy was harnessed to create weapons like the Sudarshana Chakra.
And finally, his essence is alive today, not just in joyful rituals like the Randala dance.
But internally, guiding our vital processes as the Pingala Nadi. This whole cycle is the perfect blueprint for how ancient spiritual ideas are refined, dramatized, and localized to make divinity relatable and unforgettable.
So what does this whole saga mean for us then? This story shows that even the most powerful celestial being, the source of all energy and light, had to accept a reduction of his own inherent untempered brilliance, his luster, just to maintain a vital connection.
It raises a powerful personal question, doesn't it? One that resonates across every relationship we have. What aspects of our own power, our own ego, or our own untempered brilliance do we need to consciously plane away? What luster must we sacrifice in order to truly coexist, connect, and nourish those we love? Sometimes, to create and sustain a relationship, you must first consent to be lessened.
A profound thought to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the shifting and surprisingly human faces of Surya.